Hey, how are you guys? It is Harrison Barron from growth-generator.com. Now, in this video, I want to talk about a sales process you should be following, but also how long that sales process is going to take. I'm going to take you from the beginning, from lead generation, all the way to your onboarding phase and every step along the way, along with timeframes, which is really, really important because some people think they can sprint a marathon, and as much as we all want to, that is not possible. So let's dive into it. Before I get in, I do want to mention a couple things. Number one, my masterclass is down below. Like I said, it is currently getting revamped. It is going to be amazing. Now, the current one that's there is phenomenal. 5 ways to make significantly more money online. But if you do watch this in the future, it may be even better. So don't miss out on that. That's number one. Number two, there are links down below to helpful resources and videos that I've made that have transformed MSPs. If you have not already checked those out, I highly recommend doing it. And I do update those links so that way you can go in. Doesn't matter when you're seeing this, there are even more beneficial links down below. So don't miss that out. And number three, last but not least, if you want to sit down and interview me, I'm leaving that open. I'm booking calls. I'm going to be setting people up and we're going to sit down and interview. Now, that interview is going to consist of you and me on a Zoom call, and you're going to be able to ask real questions, typically objections, but anything along the sales process, I'm going to answer it in real time. I'm going to have my editor chop that up and make a video out of it to add a massive, massive value to you guys. So I will be batching that out, but I'm going to leave that open currently permanently. So check that out as well. So let's get into it. Your sales process. Now, this is not going to be the most in-depth video of your sales process, but this is what you should be following to go through it. If you're interested in a very detailed sales process, there is a link to my blueprint down below. Check that out. You are not going to want to miss that. That is every single minute, fine detail, including anything that you can imagine as far as MSP sales. But the first and foremost, the one part that everybody hates is lead generation. Now, if you haven't subscribed already, you're going to want to subscribe already. As soon as I'm done with my sales area, sales videos, I'm going to be going into marketing and lead generation for MSPs. You are going to want to get notified about that. Hit that little notification bell so you don't miss out on it. But lead generation, there is no time frame because this is like putting your pants on every single morning. If you don't wear pants and you're like me and like shorts, putting your shorts on, putting your underwear on. Think of the most ridiculous thing. You got to eat every day. You should be prospecting and looking for leads every single day. If it is not ingrained in your brain to be looking for leads every single day, the rest of this does not matter. You should always be looking for leads. It doesn't mean you have to spend all day every day. I don't expect you to spend 8 hours a day prospecting, but you should spend at the bare minimum 15 to 20 minutes every single day. And for salespeople, you might be prospecting every single day. So there is no time frame on this because it's something that you should be doing perpetually forever. It does not matter how big, how many millions of dollars your MSP is doing, or tens of thousands, or hundreds of thousands of dollars your MSP is doing. You and your team should be prospecting every single day, no matter what. You eat lunch every day, you eat dinner every day, you eat breakfast every day. Do it every single day. There's no reason not to do it because you have to keep a full pipeline. Now, number two, initial contact, which is arguably the most important part. That is when people start to figure out who you are. That could be the moment that phone connects to that caller. It could be the first time you reach out to somebody on social media. It does not matter. But that initial contact should happen relatively quickly. I would say within a week of finding that prospect, you should be reaching out to them. I would say that day if you can. And that initial contact is just going to be a couple messages. Hey, how are you doing? This is so-and-so from so-and-so's company. We help XYZ companies do this with their technology. If this is interesting to you, great. If not, no worries. Do you know anybody that I might be able to help? That's okay to ask. That's okay to say to people. After your initial contact, you have your secondary contact. This is the actual meeting or your needs assessment. That is going out on site and figuring out what they actually need. Now, you are not a doctor. You can't go and prescribe every single thing to them unless you're very, very tech savvy on the spot. There are 2 things you're going to need to do in this meeting. 1, Be genuine and try to understand what they're currently dealing with, their technology needs, and their hardware that they're currently using. This little device is the greatest device in the world because it has that little thing right there, that camera. You should be taking pictures of everything and ask the client respectfully, hey, do you mind if I take a bunch of pictures? I want to go back and check it out with my team and just make sure that whatever we recommend in our proposal is the best for your situation. Is that cool with you? I have never gotten anybody that says no. They might say, hey, just don't take pictures of this part of the office. We deal with sensitive information. Totally fine. I have had to sign NDAs and non-disclosures for clients. It's nothing out of the normal for me and many people that I've worked with. But your needs assessment has to be thorough enough that when you get to that proposal development, you can do it effectively. Now, that needs assessment should happen, hopefully, within 1 week of that initial contact. Now, this is what the process looks like. You find a prospect. You're hopefully reaching out to that lead within a week. Probably that day, but within a week. You should try to book a meeting within the next 5 business days. You have to get it while it's fresh. You don't want to be forgotten about. You don't want to be last week's breakfast when nobody thinks about it anymore. You have to be aggressive with your sale. It doesn't mean you have to be forceful with it, but you have to be diligent on staying on top of getting in front of that person and getting that needs assessment done. What does your technology landscape look like? Let's go through it and let's take a journey of seeing what you actually need and how we might even be able to help, or if we can't help, to recommend you to somebody that could help you. So that needs assessment should be done 1 week after that initial contact. You should be able to get that person in an in-person meeting. Now, there's always extenuating circumstances. They're going on vacation. You're going on vacation. Don't worry about it. Push it back at most 2 weeks. If it's anything further than that, you've probably lost it. You might have to revisit it again. If you've spoken to that client before, you might be able to somehow save it. But after 2 weeks, it's a dead fish. It's a dead fish in the water. It doesn't matter anymore. There is no... That person, we've already covered why people buy, pain in the present, pain in the future, pleasure in the present, pleasure in the present, pleasure in the future. You have to get aggressive and be quick with it. Now, you have your proposal development. When you leave that meeting, you have about 72 hours to get that person a proposal. Now, you can buy time. And the reason why I say you can buy time is you have 72 hours to deliver that proposal. This is from last video, by the way, but you can submit that proposal within 72 hours. An easy way to buy more time if you need, is to tell the prospect, hey, it's against my company policy to just send you a proposal. Do you have a quick hour that we can either sit down on Zoom or preferably in person and go over your proposal together? The reason we do that, and it's part of company policy, is to make sure that if you have any questions, we can answer them immediately without you going to Google and getting potentially wrong information. Not bad, but wrong. Other people write other things on the internet. I own a digital marketing agency. Surprise, surprise. I have gotten plenty of things to rank on Google. A lot of those things are true, but not all of them will be true on the internet. I know it surprises many of you that not everything's true on the internet, but you have about 72 hours to send them a proposal. Now, I've already covered, there will be a link down below to a video on whether or not you should include part numbers and product numbers in your proposal. You're going to want to watch that after this video. But 72 hours to get that proposal ready. Next is going to be your presentation. Proposals do not go in the mail. They don't go in the email. They don't go anywhere unless you are watching that person, like I'm currently watching you, to go over it. Some of you have already asked me for proposals for websites, and you all know that I will not send you anything unless we're on the phone, on Zoom, or in person, which at this point, most of you are not in North Carolina, specifically the Charlotte region, so we're all doing it over Zoom or phone. That does not get sent out. I cannot stress how important that is, because if you let that sucker go and it vanishes, it might as well be dead, because they can go take it to everybody else. There's no emphasis on the sale. There's no stressing scarcity, urgency. All of that is gone. It does not matter how good your meeting was prior. They will have plenty of time to either shop you around or think about it, which they won't be making a quality decision if they say no. I will repeat that. They won't be making a quality decision if they say no. You are the right solution for their business if you are sending that proposal. I can't be more serious than that. It is so critically important. Now, that's going to be presenting that proposal. Zoom, phone, in person. Those are the only 3 ways that you send a proposal out to anybody. If they're not willing to meet with you, that proposal does not even get sent. I know it's going to kill you. I have made companies insane amounts of money. You cannot let it go otherwise. Unless they are a government agency. Hear me out. When you deal with a government agency or government contract work, typically you can do the whole presentation, the whole 9. They are not allowed to make a decision right there. They aren't. Your policy is not to send that proposal. Their policy is not to accept that proposal until they have at least 3 other ones. They've interviewed everybody else and they make a sound decision. And that usually involves a board of directors or a board or multiple people involved. Yes, you can present to all of them, but they are not going to send you a signed proposal until they've met, they've gone over all the details, and then they'll hit sign. That's the only time that you can hit send and hope for the best at the end of it. You are not going to get a yes or no at the end of that call. Now, that presentation should take no more than maybe an hour or 2 after you've met with them and you've gone over everything. That's it. You should have an answer by the end of that day, at the most the next business day. If you don't get an answer by then, more than likely it's lost. And your proposals should have an expiration date. This proposal expires in, most businesses do 5 business days. 5 business days is fine. If you want to be a little bit more on the scarcity or urgency, 3 business days. If you're a little more lax, 2 weeks, 10 business days, whatever works for you. Find out what works for you in your market. It may be very different. I'm from Long Island. Things happen quickly, specifically New York. So keep that in mind. Now, there may be some negotiation that happens. I typically don't negotiate. These are our numbers, whether or not you like it. You can add value, but you don't want to negotiate. There is a big difference there. Negotiation should almost never happen on a proposal. You should be giving fair numbers that are competitive with everybody else, so that way, God forbid, they do ask their friend or another contractor, they can say that's competitive instead of you're raking them over the coals. That is the worst thing, and that'll make a horrible, horrible client relationship if they hear from their friends or family that you are getting screwed by that MSP. Be very careful there. And after that, once they sign, onboarding should happen within the next 30 days. It doesn't have to happen the next day. It doesn't have to happen the next week. But there should be a clear conversation and detailed in the proposal that onboarding will start between 10 to 20 business days after a signed proposal to gather all the information, whatever we need, and to start that onboarding. How long your onboarding takes is totally up to you. I do have an onboarding video coming up. Once again, you might want to hit that subscribe button and that notification bell and that like button. Now, this video is already long, so in the next video, I want to share with you guys how to speed up this decision-making process of making that proposal go from a prospect or just a lead that you think is a lead to a closed deal faster. Hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell, and don't forget about those links down below. I'll see you guys in the next video. Love you. Bye.